You better buckle up your belts, ladies and gentlemen, because today we're going to be covering the top 10 most expensive cars to ever be sold. No, this isn't your mom's station wagon. These are all the very top of their class, setting insane prices. So stick around until the very end because the most expensive one might just surprise you. Now let's get started.
Buckle up.
Starting off our list, we have the 1935 Duesenberg SSJ. This is not only the oldest car on our list, but it's the only American-made one also. This car was crafted to go up against the most powerful and the most luxurious cars of its era, and was definitely meant to be a status symbol of the elite. This particular model was actually a short wheelbase supercharged J or SSJ version of the car. There were actually only 2 of these made, and this one so happened to be owned by Hollywood star Gary Cooper. Selling for $22 million in July of 2018, this car definitely has a unique look to it, which helps sets it apart from all the other cars on our list. Up next, we have the Ferrari, and spoiler alert, there's gonna be a lot more where those come from. Speaking of which, coming in at only $5,000 more than the previous car, we have the 56 Ferrari 290mm. Only 4 of these cars were produced. This model of car was produced to compete in the open road endurance race, the Mia Mia. Listen guys, the only Italian that I know is Chef Boyardee. So you're gonna get what you're gonna get with these pronunciations, capiche? This is definitely a nice car, and especially when it's sporting that famous Ferrari red. Same year, different car. The 1956 Aston Martin DBR1 comes in next on our list. This car was sold for over $22.5 million back in August of 2017, which set a record for the most expensive British car ever sold. Way before this car was sold though, it was busy setting records on the racetrack, including a win at the 1959 Nürburgring. Be sure to go and vote in the comments down below on what's better, my Italian or my German. I know they're both super authentic, unless you just want to be mean, but go ahead, comment. It'll help us out anyway. Now back to the car. This machine sure is a gorgeous piece of automobile history. We said we would have Ferraris on this list, and now it's time to show some of them off. Next up, we have the Ferrari 275 GTB C Speciale. This car is stunning. Only 3 of this model were ever made for the racing season. However, this particular one never saw action in the competitive scene. Selling for $26,400,000 in 2014, the color of this car certainly gives it a unique look compared to that iconic Ferrari red. Very similar to the previous car, up next, we have the Ferrari 275 North Spider. This is a 1 of 10 series that were produced for a North American dealer who asked for a special model. Originally retailing for $14,400 in 1967, adjusting for inflation, this car had a price tag of over $113,000 in today's money. This one actually went on to sell in 2013 for an impressive $27,500,000. This car had only one owner who bought the car back in 1968. He would also be seen regularly driving this car, which is absolutely crazy. Now hold up, this one might sound familiar, but for the 5th most expensive car of all time, we have another Ferrari 290mm. Basically, everything we said about the last one can be said about this one. However, in the 1956 Mia Mia, this car got the 4th overall place. This one sold for over $28 million in 2015. And since it was an amazing piece of racing history, it was kept in museum quality conditions all throughout these years. Don't be alarmed, y'all. The next car, I repeat, the next car is not a Ferrari. Selling for a huge $29.6 million, we have the Mercedes-Benz W196. This sale set quite a few records, including the most expensive Mercedes-Benz, the most expensive Formula 1 car, and the most paid for a German car. This one sold in authentic condition, meaning it had all the dirt, scratches, and debris that it got from its last race. Something about the authenticness of this car makes it stand out from the rest and quite interesting amongst the lines of our list. What's that? You thought we were done with Ferraris? No. The 1957 Ferrari 335S is the third best-selling car of all time. Being sold in 2016 for over $35 million, only 4 of these were ever produced. This car and the previous Mercedes-Benz are actually the only 2 on our list to not be sold in the United States, with the former being sold in the UK and this one was placed up for auction in Paris, France. Now, like a whole lot of other cars on our list, this one has a nice resume of a bunch of famous races, including the Mia Mia and the Le Mans race. There's only 2 cars left on our list. Are they Ferraris? Or perhaps they could be a Ferrari. Did you guess Ferrari? Well, congratulations, you're right! The 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO is the second most expensive car auctioned off. Selling for over $38 million in 2014, many consider this car model to be the most valuable collector car out there. If you wanted to buy a new one in 1962, you had to be personally approved by the founder of Ferrari itself, Enzo Ferrari. Now back then, you could get one for $18,000, but today, well, good luck is all I have to tell you. Since 2004, every one that has sold has been for over $10 million, and they just get pricier and pricier every single year. So if you want one, you better act fast. Here we have it, folks, the most expensive car to ever be sold at auction. And when we said Ferrari 250 GTOs were expensive, we meant it. Selling for an astronomical $48.4 million in 2018. If the point hasn't come across yet, this is the car, a piece of automobile history that collectors can only dream of owning. Fun fact, one of these apparently sold for $70 million in 2018 at a private sale. We were focusing on the auctions for this list because we can verify the sales prices. But either way, this car reigns as king. The moral of the story, you might be wondering? It's that Ferraris are a lot more expensive than I thought, and I now want multiple. If you like this video full of expensive stuff, be sure to check out our most expensive playlist. This is Dom signing off for the Financial Fixation, and I'll see you in the next one.